Hi everyone. I hope you all are safe and well. Thanks for joining today's focus group on developing customer intelligence with Zoho CRM using Zia. Today, we will be discussing some of Zia's new features from CRM Feature Edition 2020 and its different components. Before we go further, let's check out today's agenda. First, we'll start with an introduction to Zia. A recap. If anyone has missed the last session, and then we will look at some of the components of Zia that will help you manage your CRM's intelligence. Finally, we will wrap up the session with a Q&A. Let's get started. Why Zia? To know why Zia is a vital tool, let's first understand what Zia really is. Zia is Zoho's artificial intelligence powered assistant that touches upon several Zoho products. In context of CRM, simply put, Zia helps to simplify your sales routine. She uses machine learning to keep a tab on all your past interaction with clients and helps give you meaningful insights and suggestions. She can help predict the likely deal closure date, such as the products your client might be interested on, and more. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. Zia drastically reduces manual effort and chances of data errors in vital everyday tasks. But more on that later. Let's take an example. Say, as a sales manager, you're used to assigning leads in a certain way based on parameters like region, industry, type, etc. Zia understands your assignment pattern and can help automate it. She observes the sales routine of your reps and suggests workflows to automate them. Let's say, whenever a new lead is assigned to your sales representative, he/she sends a welcome email, schedules a call, creates a meeting, requests, and a task. Zia observes this routine and will suggest workflows to automate these setups. The workflow suggestions can be previewed and implemented with ease. I'm sure you would agree that for salespeople, time is money. As Zia helps to cut mundane tasks by automating them, your sales team can invest this time to good effect on what they love doing, winning more deals. Apart from that, Zia also had a lot of out of the box functionalities, such as detecting and prompting a message to ensure it contains vital information when you send out an email. For example, when you send out an email saying you're attaching a document or that you're including a link, Zia scans your email to detect this and prompts a message to ensure you want to send your email even without the attachment or link. Zia record assignment. Using assignment rules, it is easier for the admin to decide a process based on which the new leads created are assigned to users based on criteria set up by the admin. When you assign a project to a team, you ensure they are the best team for the job, that they have the necessary skill set, their profile fits, that they vibe well with the goal, that they understand the market, among bunch of other things. Now, when it comes to record assignment, it's only more of the same. However, unlike the few projects you have to assign you have thousands or records to assign to users in your organization. Perfectly assigning a lead to an owner would involve a lot of specifics. Owner territory, their schedule, whether they are available or not, their records, product interest, source, language, and dozens of other relevant criteria. More often than not, a lot of these specifics get lost in the way. And this only lessens the chance of conversion. CR record assignment lets you configure different criteria based on your industry specification like territory, product interest, lead source, etc. such that only the leads that satisfy the criteria will be automatically assigned to the selective representative. By automating the lead assignment process, you can save a lot of time and effort and also reduce inadvertent slips that may occur due to manual interventions. Zia record assignment takes that one step ahead. Zia observes the record assignment pattern and takes the following pattern into consideration for assigning an appropriate record owner. So let's see an example for an existing pattern. Our business is an automobile manufacturer. As every other business, we have an influx of leads. This means a mix of leads spanning across the world, business leads and customer leads alike. Leads who have an array of preferences, be it motorcycles, sedans, four-wheel drives, the whole amalgamation. Apart from the kind of records they are, we also have them having preferences in other domains. Users who prefer to take calls, those that want email communication. So normally, our assignment patterns would run through different permutations of these choices. For example, one of our users only gets assigned to leads from the West Coast. Another is assigned leads who are of a certain industry, another based on potential deal size, and so on. So instead of going through each of these manually, Zia observes the pattern you follow and simply assigns based on these criteria. Zia will observe the type of communication a user mostly performs, email communication or calls. She'll draw a pattern from the observation about the user's preferential mode of communication. For example, if user A mostly manages email communication, then the records that have value in the email field will be assigned to user A. Similarly, if the email field is empty and the phone number field has a value, then that record will be assigned to a user that mostly manages calls. Next is online status of users. When setting the assignment rule, if you check the user availability before assigning record, then Zia will take into consideration a user's online status, namely if the user is logged in to CRM or not. If the user is not logged into CRM, the record would be assigned to the default user. The third one is user's workload. Zia will suggest a user based on the number of records they manage in a day. For example, if user A manages 50 customers in a day and user B manages 30 customers, then Zia will check if they have reached their maximum limit before suggesting. Zia calculates the threshold limit and suggests user who have less records as per their daily limit, and she keeps a check on overloading the users. Now let's see how you can select Zia suggested user. In your CRM, go to the settings menu and in the setups page, go to the assignment rules under automation. Now I'm going to create a new assignment rule for contacts. Here, under Assignment rule. I have the option to create an assignment rule of my own where I can select my own, where I can apply this rule based on all records that are created by online or manual creation, or I can set up a specific criteria, or and then once that is done, I can assign records based on any specific category, like based on users. I can select any number of users, or based on roles and choose different roles, etc. Or I can set up a specific user specific criteria, like based on round robin. Okay, if this round robin option will be available only if you have more than one users. Else, I can go with Zia's suggested user. When I have Zia's suggested user, I don't have to make any other, I don't have to set up any other criteria, because once this is set up, Zia would automatically analyze the pattern, and based on that, it would assign the users based on region, territory, based on industry, etc. I can save the rule. Now let's see Zia for workflows. Let's first understand what a workflow is. These are a set of actions that are executed when certain specified conditions are met. These rules automate the process of sending email notifications, assigning tasks, and updating certain fields of a record when a rule is triggered. It can be helpful to automate these activities and use the time saved on other essential tasks. But the larger the organization, this can be an overwhelming task to identify all these activities and create a process to automate them. Hence, Zia can fill that gap by suggesting the workflow automations that can satisfy your needs. Apart from creating workflows to automate and speed up grunt work, thinking of workflows and ensuring you have all your workflows in place to maximize its use itself can be quite tiring. Zia's workflow suggestions eliminates this as well. For example, back in our automobile business, say that you manually keep triggering an email every time you receive a lead with a high score. Zia will suggest a workflow to automate these email trigger instead. Or say you're manually updating the account for whenever you close a deal. Zia comes up with a workflow that you can simply implement and eliminate all that extra hassle. Zia does this by analyzing every single action executed in your CRM, based on which it identifies repetitive activities and suggests or recommends macros or workflows that can directly put into live action. Workflow suggestions work for your leads, contacts, accounts, and deals module. Also, you have to make sure you have the permission to view workflow to be able to access this feature. To enable this option, you have to make sure you go to the settings page and then to the setup page. Go under Zia recommendations, system recommendations, and enable the macro suggestion and workflow suggestion. This will completely analyze the pattern, and based on that, it will suggest you workflow and macro suggestions. You have to make for workflows and Zia for assignments. For this pattern to work, you have to have minimum of 1,000 records in your CRM, and so that These are so that Zia can analyze the pattern, because the left the records, it will not be able to analyze the pattern and the actions that you perform on a daily basis. So you have to make sure you have at least minimum of 1,000 records in your CRM for this to analyze the pattern and then uh, suggest you workflow automations, or it should work for manual, it should work for automatic assignments. Once once ZR for workflows analyzes the whole pattern, under workflow rules, that is under automation, under workflow rules, you can see this option enabled. So as you can see here, save your sales team hours of work with ZR workflow suggestions. Once you click on view suggestion, you can find all the suggestions here. It will also give you the option to preview. You can click on preview, and then you can enable that workflow for you to perform. Else, on the bottom right in your CRM, you have the Zia icon. Click on this and you will get all your suggestions. So once you click on one of these suggestions, it will show you the whole preview of the workflow. For example, here we have created a workflow for contacts, and you can just directly click on create as workflow, and the workflow is ready. You don't have to manually design or lay a new workflow for this. Now let's see Zia for emails. So why Zia for emails? All business communication and transactions happen over emails, be it with customers, prospects, partners, or vendors. Besides, being an essential mode for communication, emails are an official repository for important information details on meeting schedules, business agendas, addresses, invoices, social handles, etc. are available on emails, and sales representative may spend quite a lot of time in entering such details manually into the CRM database. Our automobile business, we talked about earlier, relies heavily on emails as well. Apart from sales, our invoicing, procurement, all of it comes down to its emails. Now, along with its heavy usage comes heavy manual resources. Zia for emails is designed to automate and ensure accuracy in common activities when it comes to emails, including creating activities from emails itself. Our component of emails in Zia are major reasons why it's necessary. Now let's see some of the components of Zia for email. Data enrichment from email signatures, activity extraction, email intent, and email sentiment. Let's look at each of these in depth. Data enrichment from email signatures. Once a record is created in your CRM account, it becomes increasingly difficult to update their changing information, be it email address, company, phone number, and more. Record details keep changing. And this just translates to poor data. Poor data, in turn, gives way to lower probability of conversions. Manually staying on top of all your record changes and ensuring to update each and every one of them would add up to a lot of manual work for thousands of records. Clearly, this is not a feasible option. There enters data enrichment. Data enrichment for email signature has Zia. So once your data in CRM is populated, you can always go the extra mile and keep updating it with Zia. Capturing important information such as customers' personal information or details of a meeting right from the email's details like email address, website, contact number, company name, social handles, designation, company location, An address mentioned in the email signature can be captured into CRM. In CRM, we have identified some fields that are commonly used, such as fax designation, phone number, last name, email, etc., and termed them as enrichment fields. But as there may be a possibility of referring these fields with different names, in the CRM account to avoid confusion or incorrect data entry, we'll let you map these enriched fields with the right CRM field. It would be tedious to manually enter information from the signature one by one, as it is also time consuming. Instead, Zia allows you to manually extract personal information from email signature and helps you update to a existing or a new lead contact. This reduces manual effort and chances of error. It facilitates the data population of leads, contacts, and accounts module. Now, to enrich data from email signatures, you have to first go to settings, Zia, and communication, and you have to make sure the email intelligence toggle is switched on. Now, Zia for emails, when you turn on the email intelligence, it will activate all the following features: email sentiment, email intent, activity extraction, data enrichment from signature. So let's go to a record. So for example, if an user sends me an email, for example, I take this lead, go to the email related list, and I can click on one of the emails. Here I see the option enrich data. And you can see ZR does not have any information for this lead. Now, there are no new information to update, but if there are, for example, if an user's signature has social media links or fax number or additional company related information, and if these are mapped, then Zia will automatically also map and update those information. Now, in order to map, you have to go to the Zia data enrichment section. We already have a feature called data enrichment. You can go here, and here you have the option to map leads and leads, contacts, and accounts. You can go here and map the fields that you want to be configured and added to the record. The major difference between the data enrichment and the data enrichment for the email is that in data enrichment, the data populated is too generic and it fetches from the website. Whereas, while passing from the email signature, which is extremely personal and specific, the data populated is always very relatable and accurate. The user need not have to manually update contact numbers and address details, as all this will be done by Zia, and that too with a higher accuracy. Now let's see our next option, the activity extraction. Now CRM lets your admin assign records to the sales rep and have the option to create workflows to ensure the activities are created at a higher level. However, over the course of a lead or contacts journey and over the interaction with the sales rep, several other activities will be scheduled and occur, be it calls or meetings or events. Zia helps us ensure none of these activities fall through the cracks and automates our processes for us. Like we said earlier, we have a ton of records, leads, and contacts in our automobile business, and multiple emails are exchanged with several of these records. Several of these emails contain information pertaining to some activity or the other. Perhaps a call to discuss different services you offer, an online meeting with entire group at a particular time on a particular day with the particular requirements, or even scheduling an in-person meet with the venue details and such. Rather than going through each and every email and then creating an activity, a task, a call, a meeting, or the like in CRM, Zia gives you the option of not having to do anything at all. Zia scans the emails for information of an activity and suggests that you save it as one. If you find any of these details not to your liking, you can simply edit Zia's activity and add in details and or remove others. Adding these activity details manually can be time consuming and may also introduce inadvertent errors while manually copying details from the emails. Zia's activity extraction from emails can help you to capture meetings, tasks, and calls automatically from an email. A major advantage of this feature is ensuring you leave no strings. Say you mention identify and pinpoint activities, identify, mention, pinpoint and pinpoint activities in emails, and suggest the agents to add activity to CRM from the email. They can edit the suggestion and enter more details or save the activity as it is. Zia's suggestions can be seen in emails present in related list of a record as well as in sales signals. Here, let's go to a leads record, click on one of the emails here under the email related list. Here, a user has sent an email and wants to just schedule an event. Zia automatically extracts the event and allows you to create an event. So with just one click, I can create a new event. I can just click on this and I can view my meeting that is scheduled with the user. That easy it is. There are few points to consider. In case of multiple meetings are mentioned in the email, then most distinct one will be captured by Zia. For example, if the email states a call at 9 a.m. and a task at 4 p.m., Zia will pick the 9 a.m. call because it's the first occurrence. The activities will be automatically tuned to the organization's business hour. For example, if the time and date mentioned by the customer in the email is 10 a.m. PST, then the time will be converted to organization's time zone. If a business hour or shift hour is not configured in an account, then the default time, that is 9 a.m., will be taken into account for all the activity. In cases where the time or date are mentioned in ranges like 3 to 3 p.m. or 20th to 22nd March, Zia will pick the first instance, that is 3 p.m. and 20th March. To ensure accuracy, we recommend you to check the populated time and date before saving and edit it if needed. Zia will capture meetings, tasks, calls that are scheduled for future dates only. For example, if a meeting is scheduled for the same day, then Zia will not pick the activity. Now here you can see a sample screenshot where you can create based on a customer's information whether he wants to schedule a meeting or create a task or schedule a call. You can directly click from one click you can create or schedule a call or create an event or a meeting. The major advantage of activity extraction is that you don't have to juggle between your mail screen and your calendar to create an activity. Zia will populate all useful data and you can create an activity with one click. Now, what you can expect in near future from the ZR activity extraction. To maximize ZR's capability, we have few things in our roadmap. Capturing multiple activities from email and marking them inside the body of the email. Activities extracted from emails will be suggested in a common place outside the emails. Create a feedback loop based on edits made by the user on the suggestions and pass the model to increase accuracy. Train Zia with more industry specific keywords and improve its accuracy. Now, email intent. In a business organization, you get multiple emails and it is time consuming to prioritize the emails. Hence, here we are going to prioritize the emails based on their intent. Rather than going through every single email that comes your way and then deciding whether it's a request, query, complaint, or email of another nature, Zia lets you automate this process. This saves you and use your users the trouble of going through every single email, even if it's irrelevant to you. Zia looks for the keywords and highlights the intent of the email. The following intents will be displayed as labels on the top of the record as request, query, complaint, others. So this allows the user who handle the request to simply access those emails Zia has labeled to be request, saving considerable time of their schedules. Here is a sample screenshot of how the intent looks. So when a customer sends an email, you can see a label at the top showing complaint. Similarly, this would give an idea for the users to prioritize which emails with intent they can prioritize at the top. For example, if emails with complaint has to be highly prioritized because they might be disappointed with the product or some of the functionalities might not be working or they might be expecting some better service. So this makes your job much more easier. Email sentiment. Why email sentiment analysis? Zia's email sentiment analysis simply tells us how our customers feel based on the email they have sent us before we open it. An organization receives hundreds of emails every day, but ones that have a negative tone usually require an immediate attention over the others. And acting fast when it comes to an unhappy customer prospect could mean a sale won or lost. Going through your emails individually and working out which ones need timely attention won't work here. And let's face it, when you got an unhappy customer, the least we can do is a timely response. Now, to identify the emails that need to be prioritized or require immediate attention, a representative has to leaf through the email content because of the subject of the email may not always give sufficient details about the purpose of the email. Zia's email sentiment identifies the percentage of varying customer sentiments based on which representatives can prioritize and reach out to those customers. Zia's sentiment analysis categorizes the incoming emails as positive, negative, or neutral with the help of AI. The positive email sentiment, the emails that have happy tone are categorized as positive, and you will have a positive emoji, a smiling emoji. The negative email sentiment, if the tone of the email shows unhappiness, it is categorized as negative. That is sad or angry emoji. And then the neutral. All the emails that has characteristics of both positive and negative sentiment will be categorized as neutral. Let's look at how this works in our CRM account. I'll just go to the same lead. Clicking on the email, here you can see the customer has shown a positive sentiment when he had something to appreciate about the product or the service. And then you can see he was dissatisfied because the product stopped working, hence the negative email sentiment. So based on the tone of the email sentiment analysis analyzes the mail content and then analyzes the tone and assigns the sentiment. This will also be visible here on your emails if you have any sentiments here. Also on your sales signals. And you can also view these email sentiments directly in your sales inbox as well. For this to appear, your users have to make sure they have configured IMAP and sales inbox. Also, you have the option to filter out emails based on their sentiment. You can choose what kind of sentiment you want to prioritize the users with. So, for example, negative sentiments are the users that you want to prioritize at first because they have complaints, issues, or disappointments with the product or the service, and you want to approach there and you want to close those. You want to close and make sure that your customers are happy. With that, this will let you know the sentiment and the intent which the customer is conveying through the email. The main advantage of this feature is the salesperson can readily identify customers who are unhappy or complaining. They will lead to better customer service as one can tend to identify these unhappy customers right away. We have two sentiments which show up if the mail convey either of these very distinctly. We don't tag emails which are in the neutral zone, that is, neither explicitly positive or negative. We have four intents: complaint, request, query, and others. This will help the user to segregate the mails based on the need from the customer end and tend to these accordingly. This can also help to set up priorities on writing back. Complaints can be addressed first instead of going chronologically. With that, for Zia for emails, to activate the email intelligence, you have to be in the enterprise edition and your organization should have not less than 25 users to use this feature. But we do have plans to bring the user count down where we have access for more users in an organization. We will keep you updated on that. We hope you found this session useful. Though Zia has been there for a while, it's still early days, and we need all your support to help you leverage Zia better. There may be some initial hiccups in getting Zia tuned to your business requirements, but fret not. The more you use it, the better it gets. Thank you for participating in today's webinar. Hope to see you now next. Have a great day.